Listening to That Great Business Show with Conal O'Moran and Jamie Heaslip. ThatGreatBusinessShow.com. This could be your ad on That Great Business Show.
Vivid Age has a simple business model. They want to save larger companies with big energy bills up to, or even more than, 30% of those energy costs. Better still, companies don't have to stump up any cash, as all costs come out of the savings. Sounds attractive? Well, yes, indeed. Vivid Age has already raised tens of millions of euro to fund its projects from a large European energy efficiency fund. The company's first customer was a large hospital, and it's also looking at projects in food and data processing, pharma and telecoms, covering areas such as lighting, heating, cooling and, of course, chilling. The brains behind Vivid Age is Tracy ORourke, who spent most of her career in financial services and aircraft leasing before striking out on her own 5 years ago. Thanks for joining That Great Business Show, Tracy.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.
You had a proper job. What madness made you want to go into a startup, your own startup?
Well, I'm laughing because you're sounding like my father here. And I don't know, it's, when I embarked on my career, I very much followed a traditional corporate path, which was reasonably successful. And I did that for many years. And I just got to a point where, and it's interesting, I do believe that careers are very much a journey and I go through very many different chapters. I think that's what's wonderful about life now. But for me, I just wanted to innovate a little bit more. And, you guys will know, and big companies are terrific. And I'm bringing a huge amount of big company expertise to Vivid Edge. But if you want to innovate in a big company, it takes a long time to turn a big ship. So I realized I wanted to innovate more than I was been able to do in a large company. And also I gradually realized that purpose was important to me. So Vivid Edge was really an opportunity to innovate and to do something commercial, but with a social purpose at the heart. And our social purpose is climate action.
An accountant with a heart.
So can I just say the business has the heart.
So is there a distinctive moment, light bulb went off and you went, right, I'm out of this and I'm into that?
It really took an awfully long time, Jamie, and I would say it wasn't an easy decision, and certainly it was one that nobody I knew thought was a good idea. Certainly not my husband. Kids were quite supportive. I think bemused, family concerned, and none of my friends could understand why would you leave a really big company to join a small company. And I'm going, because it's my small company, but that didn't seem to resonate.
It's my island.
It didn't seem to resonate at all. So I would say it took me a good 5 years after really wanting to do it to pluck up the courage, because it's a huge risk. You're following a certain career path for 25, 30 years. And then it does look like, and I have been accused of indulging in a midlife crisis. But it was much more than that for me.
But Jamie's question still stands.
Yeah.
Was there that little itch at night, or was there something that
pushed you over the edge?
Constantly, constantly. But I think I spent a long time puzzling out what might it be. But I think ultimately the thing that really pushed me was, when you try and stand back and look at your life, and I said, look, when I'm 95 and I look back on my younger self, what would I advise the younger person to do? And we are meant we are meant to express ourselves, to grow, to expand, and to live life to the full. And we're not supposed to be settling for a second best or limiting ourselves. So I thought...
You were never made for corporate life, if that was your thinking. Because corporate life tries to box you in.
Corporate life has really served me well. And if I hadn't had the corporate life, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. And I actually just think our lives go through different journeys. So, and it's interesting because having left corporate life, I initially worked with a few early stage companies, and they do live in a certain crazier realm. And I did say, what have I done? And then I had a chance to work with an incredible high growth aircraft leasing company that had all of the professionalism that you learn to expect in a very large multinational, but at the same time was really innovative, really agile. And I thought, finally, I have a template, something I can the best of corporate, but kind of peppered with the innovation. And that's really what I was looking to emulate. And I go on to say, the other thing I wanted to do was create an absolutely amazing, great, fun place to work that didn't have the constraints of a big company. And big companies, want to do it, and they do it very, very well. But again, as a smaller company, you just have more things you can do.
What is an accountant's view of great fun? I've been really rude, haven't I?
I'm laughing because I have an exam on Monday and I'm doing financial accounting for managers. And it's been given by an accountant. And he's a lovely man, but I don't know if he's that much crack. So tell me, come on, get rid of that stereotype. Tell us.
But I was like, what's suitable for a radio podcast? But, and you know something? I think a great place to work is somewhere where you can...
She's going to tell us how the place is class.
A great place to work, I think, is somewhere where you can actually just totally be yourself. Where you don't, and certainly with some of my team, they don't want to work in a rigid role. I know certainly Emer. I have two co-founders. I should say Emer, our CFO. So it's not just one accountant. There's two and an engineer. So it's even worse than it looks on first inspection, Jamie. But
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying
we one of the things is being yourself, not being constrained to a rigid role, which is really necessary in big organizations, and being able to innovate on how we meet what our customers need, and then socially accountants can have fun too.
But of course they do. Now, you're here on That Great Business Show, and one of the reasons that you are here is that you want to sell your business. I don't mean sell it, but to attract customers. So you better do the pitch.
Well, what we're helping, and I'm going to just talk about the problem we're helping solve. We're helping solve climate action, and that's through energy efficiency. And the thinking really, I came from an aircraft leasing background and banking and finance. And a lot of that was about being able to do so much more by renting rather than buying.
Yeah.
If you think about Ryanair, it's been able to lease aircraft and it was able to expand very, very rapidly. So I was thinking, how can we help businesses do much more than they're currently doing when capital is constrained? And if you think about, so we work with large multinationals. So if you imagine a big telco and they're setting very ambitious climate targets, it's really refreshing to see big companies setting targets without yet knowing how they're going to get there. That's an entrepreneurial way of thinking. And it's wonderful the way that big companies are now embracing this because they have to. So how do you bridge that gap between the capital they have available and then these big stretch targets? So what we do is we bring our capital and we will pay for new lighting, new heating, new air conditioning, new control systems, anything that consumes energy, in a data center, in a processing center, and we'll charge a simple monthly service fee.
Give me a real life example of something that you have done.
Yeah, so we have done upgrades. I'll do a very simple lighting project in a telco as an example. And if you imagine telcos, they want to invest in 5G. And they have data centers and offices, and the equipment works absolutely fine. Air conditioning, lighting, it works, but it's gobbling up much more energy than it should. So what we can do is we upgrade, and we have upgraded, say, the lighting, and we've looked at, we've done a business case for rooftop solar and then also air conditioning. So we fully pay for that, and then we charge a monthly fee, and the energy savings are higher than our fee. So our customer hasn't had to put their hand in their pocket. They have saved money from day one, and they've reduced their carbon footprint, and everybody wins. And so it's a real win-win situation.
You, Jamie, are familiar with Urban Volt. This sounds a bit like an Urban Volt.
It does. Yeah, it sounds.
What is the difference?
What I would say is we're both solving the same problem in slightly different ways. And it's a very, very big problem. And I think what's fantastic is we have here two great Irish companies solving a really important problem on an international scale. And I think the more we can see Irish companies playing 100%. This role, which is absolutely terrific.
Have you brought it internationally yet?
Yes, we have. We're very, very well advanced with a few contracts that will be pan-European. So,
amazing.
yes.
So, have they been announced yet?
No.
Oh, come on. Podcast.
He loves an exclusive.
You heard it here first.
We'd love that. Yeah. So what are they?
So we are. If you think about it, as what, and you know, the customer that we can help the best will be a large multinational that has a program office for energy efficiency across different locations, and it can be different countries, and it can even be different currencies. And typically, we're working, in Europe. Although we do have some opportunities beyond that, but probably we're Ireland into Europe. And if they if they want to move that program at a faster pace, we can be an additional lever in their program office to do multiple projects across different locations. And because we're not tied to any manufacturer, they can have complete choice of supplier. So you can do a very, very deep, comprehensive program at the same time with multiple elements. And we have devised a structure that fits really, really comfortably into a company's existing structure.
How small can you go? How small can the businesses that you will target?
We really work with large multinationals because we have our expertise is finance, it's risk, it's energy efficiency, and we're not into and we don't have the expertise to write, let's say, SME risk. So what we're really doing is our expertise is really around the technology and the structure, and we also believe that impact-wise we can scale more with the large multinationals. So it would be anybody who probably has it would be a large company. Their turnover globally is probably, it could be $1 billion. That's probably where we're playing now. With government organisations, obviously we'll go much smaller than that, and we do work with government organisations as well.
You chose to go into the Nova Accelerator in UCD. Why?
Nova has been such a terrific step, and to take you back about this mad, wild leap that I made from the corporate world, where everyone from there really felt I was insane. I do really believe that your environment is an enormous determinant of your success. And it was really important for me to be in a place where what we were doing was normal, and to be surrounded by other entrepreneurs on similar journeys. And Nova has been just the most incredible environment. There's some really, really high caliber companies there, some tremendous experience. The value you get just at the water cooler and the coffee shop, less so at the moment, but over the years, and just the supports are there as well. So we were very grateful
and
to be
beautiful green fields around you.
It's such a gorgeous location as well. So it's been a really important part of our story, and we're very, very grateful to be part of that community. And we've gained enormously from it. I mean, I have personally, but also professionally as well.
Where do you see that whole ESG space going? Because you hear a lot of people are greenwashing. You hear a lot of people are
ESG,
environmental, social. Governance.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, moving on.
Do you see the trend continuing, or do you see people just paying lip service, or do you see it when you come in and go, look, here's the bottom line, kind of how we can help, to your balance sheet? Where does it hit home? And is it going to continue to hit home?
I've seen, such an enormous shift. Definitely when we started out, the importance of climate action wasn't fully understood at all. And we've seen an enormous shift, even in the last 12 months, also even in the last quarter. Things definitely sort of paused when COVID landed at the start of this year. But I think, throughout COVID, there's huge parallels between the threat of a major pandemic and the threat of climate. Both are invisible monsters nobody can see. And then I think there's been a realization. I think a lot of people are sometimes scared into inertia, but there's if you look at businesses like Unilever globally now, they're absolutely heavily purpose-led. They have been for many years. And you're looking at businesses declaring planet as a key pillar of their strategy. I think what's still to happen is businesses are setting these big targets. They're genuinely making commitments, but they're not necessarily organised to deliver those commitments. And that's where we can help. We can help them with their how.
Beautiful segue. How can Team SBS, that's our listeners, how can they help you? What is your ask of them?
Well, I'll talk about it in two different ways. I do firmly believe that the climate is something everybody should do themselves. I think it doesn't have to be scary. And I think trying to be perfect is impossible. So it's about making in the home small changes in business, very, very small changes. You might gradually start recycling more, and then that's a step in the right direction. It's not something you should presume everyone else is going to do. And then as a bigger corporate level, Vivid Edge would love to speak with really forward-thinking multinationals, CFOs, CEOs, or people who are running climate action programs, and anyone who really likes to work collaboratively and who has an appetite to move at pace. And if those things are there, I think we can really together
name
make a
3
huge difference.
Irish companies that you would like to work with.
Oh my goodness me!
Kerry Group, maybe.
3 are absolutely, yes.
I just think of the big ones.
Yeah, no.
I'll take Kerry. I'll take Lombia. I'll take
Kingspan.
And the telcos, Vodafone,
Dimplex, someone like that.
Absolutely, yeah. But we, they're a terrific company. Anne O'Leary's really, really progressive. In fact, we have done some work there. So you're
going to say that anyway, yeah.
But
Anne's a great woman.
She's absolutely terrific. So if companies have those elements, and some large multinationals really see the value and agility that an innovative smaller company can bring, and then if you collaborate, you can really move mountains. So,
and that company that they need to contact is Vivid Edge, and the co-founder with your other 2 is Tracy ORourke. And thank you very much for joining us on That Great Business Show. And that is it from episode 12 of ThatGreatBusinessShow.com. As usual, a big thanks to our support team here at the Dublin South FM podcast studios. Most importantly, sound engineer Alison O'Dwyer and post-production engineer Peter Rice, making the 2 of us sound crisp